This is the Pro Football Report presented by BCWSA, a weekly recap of your Eagles and news around the NFL. Broadcasting live from Chickies and Pete's, tonight's show is brought to you by Rob's Automotive and Collision, BCWSA, Chickies and Pete's, Begley, Carlin and Mandio Law Firm, Penworth Financial Services, Penn Community Bank, The Capitol Grill, and Ventresca's LTD. We now go live to Chickies and Pete's for the Pro Football Report, presented by BCWSA. Now, here are your hosts. From Inside the Birds, Adam Caplan, and voice of the Philadelphia Eagles, Merrill Reese.
All right, everyone, like the man said, you're listening to the Pro Football Report presented by BCWSA right here on 1490 WBCB and 107.3 FM, and also seen live at WBCBsports.com. It's Adam Caplan from Inside the Birds and the great Merrill Reese. We are at Chicken and Pete's in Warrington, PA, right off 611, off the Jersey Turnpike. And Merrill, you're back.
I am. Has the plane landed yet?
I think it did this morning, as you said. Yeah, because three
It was
time
forever.
zones. Yeah.
It was forever.
I got you. It's a tough loss, Merrill. One of the strangest games that I can remember in a long time at SoFi Stadium. So let's get to your opening thoughts. Calling the game, what'd you see?
I saw a mess. I saw a mess. A very, very important game for both teams, and the Eagles had so many opportunities to take that game and blow it apart. They were the better team. They are a better team than the Chargers. There's
Why do you
no
say
doubt.
that?
Well, the Chargers have just as many problems on their offensive line. I think the Eagles, as good as the Chargers' backs are, and they have a good rookie back, but in Hampton.
Yeah.
But I don't think they have anybody that compares with Saquon Barkley. I don't think they have a tight end that's anywhere near as good as Dallas Goedert. And even though they have some good receivers, Ladd McConkey is a good receiver, and Keenan Allen is a good receiver, but you can't compare their receivers to what the Eagles have in
Sure.
A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and even Jahan Dotson. And I think defensively, the Eagles are light years better than the Chargers, and yet they threw away opportunity after opportunity. And of course, everybody today is killing my quarterback, Jalen Hurts. They are killing him.
I got some surprising. All right, keep going. But I'm going to surprise you with what I have to say about his performance. Go ahead.
Okay, all right. But it's a disheartening loss. It is a disheartening loss.
It is.
It's their third loss in a row. And Lee Alexander is here, and Lee is a wonderful account executive, and he knows a lot about baseball. And Lee's been telling me for a long time that this is wrong with the Eagles and that is wrong with the Eagles, and that everything, I call him Chicken Little, that the sky is falling. And
Well, from Philly, he knows this.
It hasn't fallen yet. It will fall if they lose to the Raiders this week.
That'd be bad.
But keep in mind, this team has 8 wins right now. 3 wins are a lock to win the NFC East. Yeah. That locks it up. Probably 2 wins will be enough if Dallas loses one more game. And the Eagles are not exactly in the midst of a tough stretch because they have the awful Raiders, then they have the Commanders, now they have one tough game at Buffalo, and then they have the Commanders at home. So they're in good shape, and unless something really crazy happens, they're still going to make the playoffs. However, it's disheartening to see them lose a game like this and actually face victory. Look at victory in the face, 17 or 18 yards away. Yeah. All they need is to hit an open receiver, and the game is over. The game is over, and they turn it over at that point on a bad interception.
All right, I'm going to surprise you with this. I'm going to start on the latter part where you talked about the really good defensive play by Cam Hart and Tony Jefferson had the interception. Hurts thought, that he had an open pass target, an open receiver. He didn't see Cam Hart. The throw was actually good. He just didn't see Cam Hart. I know it sounds great. How could you possibly say that he turned it over? He turned the ball over a lot. I get that. But what my job is as a reporter, and when I analyze and I talk to people, we on Inside the Birds, Greg Cosell and I and Jeff Mosher, we just taped the offensive show called Inside the Tape with Greg. And it's just funny. I threw it out to Greg. I said, Greg, you may think Hurts played poorly. I haven't talked to you yet. But I thought there were a lot of good throws. He laughed. He goes, you're kind of reading my mind. He actually made some really good throws. Yes, he turned the ball over. There's no excuse for it. But if you just grade like coaches do every single throw individually, you go, wow, you could win with that. Formationally, they changed things up coming off the mini by Merrill. So I'm in the minority. Some people are going to hate me. They're going to come at me on social media.
Well, I don't
I'm
hate
clueless.
you. I don't.
No,
hate
you're the best.
Because
I've known each other for a long time.
First of all,
You called the game. You saw it.
Yeah, but the last thing was kind of weird because I saw it deflected, and then I had to
was.
wait to see.
He
if it
never
came
saw
up.
Cam Hart. Yeah.
And then the ball and the catch he made in one hand on the
amazing.
deflection was amazing.
Jefferson, yes.
But and as much as I like Jalen Hurts, I still thought when it's first down, you've got to find a uncovered receiver.
Understood.
Somebody's going to be open
Can't
in the
turn it
back of
over.
the end.
I
But
get it.
you cannot throw into a crowd or through a small window at a play like that. So that's
situational football because you get the three.
That's
I get
on
it.
Jalen Hurts.
I got it. That's fine.
But let's start at the beginning.
Do it.
First time the Eagles, they marched down to get the touchdown on the pass to on the touchdown pass going from Justin Herbert to their rookie receiver Omarion Hampton, and that they made look easy. But then the Eagles come down, and Hurts threw what I thought was a gorgeous deep pass to A.J. Brown, and he reaches out, and it tickles his fingers, and it's incomplete. I don't know why A.J. Brown at a point like that, and I'm not telling you that he's loafing or anything, but for some reason, don't you have to extend yourself?
You do.
If he
I thought the
dives
same
for that
thing.
ball,
I thought the
if he
same
dives
thing.
for that
A little
ball,
more.
it's
Give me
a
a little more.
60-yard
That's
reception.
right. That's right.
Okay, you go back. Okay, there was an interception also where he went for Devontae Smith, and Devontae Smith fell down or was pushed down in front of the
By
defender.
Jackson, yes.
Yeah, and that ball was right where he was standing. So if he's not on the ground, it's another completion.
Correct.
And then the other play that I saw,
Over the middle.
which is over the middle, that's a pass that if he doesn't catch it, he at least brings it down. But it's up there and it goes off of A.J. Brown's fingers. And then the worst one to me, and Mike Quick doesn't agree with me on this, the worst one to me was that late in the game when they had a chance to go up by a touchdown, Hurts throws a gorgeous
throw.
pass deep into the corner, and A.J. actually at one point had it in both hands. Now, I admit there's a defender yanking at his arm, making a great play. But A.J. Brown is so big, so strong, so powerful. You know, they call a pass where there's two guys there. They call it a 50-50 pass. When A.J. Brown is around the ball like that, it's more like a 90-10 pass. He's going to make that 90% of the time. And there he doesn't come up with the ball. It was not as horrible a game for Jalen Hurts as the statistics
See what I mean?
will tell us.
I'm glad you said that because they actually brought some new wrinkles. They had Barkley in motion a little bit, motioning outside, then coming back. And then he had the unbelievable throw to Devontae Smith for 28 yards. I mean, that was what we called anticipation throw. He threw it while the receiver's in the middle of his route, and then he caught it. That was a great throw. Now, offensive line, Dickerson missed 12 snaps. Jordan Mailata's having a tough year, number 68. The offensive line is inconsistent. But here's
Cam Jurgens is struggling.
He's struggling because, remember, he had the back surgery, knee issue. But we say all this, Merrill, they had a chance to win the game.
They should have won the game.
Yeah, let's not forget that. And I know the Delaware Valley and all fans across the country, because remember, we're broadcasting on YouTube as well, not only just here in Chicken and Pizza in Warrington. People are upset. We know they want people fired. They want people benched. This is, if you grew up in Philly like me, in Cheltenham, and Merrill's from this area as well, you understand the passion of this group. This is what we love. But we try to set the record straight. It's never always quite as bad as you thought. And we'd have to mention one little note before we move on. Cal Adamitis, their long snapper, was cut today.
Oh, really?
Yeah, surprise. Yeah, they just did it an hour ago. Yeah.
Why?
Well,
Does that mean Hewlett is ready to come back?
it's a great question. Now, Adamitis has got to go through waivers. We'll see if they bring back to the practice squad. They need, but Merrill, they don't have a long snapper now. Are they blaming him for
Doesn't it
Jeff
sound
Elliott's
maybe
issues?
maybe they cut him because he sounds like an illness.
Adamitis.
How are you? Well, I'm not doing so well. I have a bad case of Cal Adamitis.
Oh, gee. Well, he's not on the team
That's
right
probably
now.
why
Yeah.
they cut him. Somebody caught Cal Adamitis.
We'll see if they bring him back to the practice squad, but they need a long snapper. Now, Jake Elliott lately, he's missed an extra point. He's missed some field goals. Merrill still has a strong leg, but he needs to be a little bit more accurate, so that's something to keep a watch on.
Well, he was, 4 for 5 yesterday? And he did have a 54-yarder.
He did.
But he does miss one every now and then, and they have a kicker. Cameron
boy.
Dicker.
Oh.
Dicker the kicker.
Dicker the
Called
kicker,
Dicker the
yes.
kicker, who kicked
Yes.
for the Eagles about 4 years ago when Jake was out with a pulled groin, and he won a game in Arizona. But I think it was more like a 35 or 40-yard field goal. But does he have distance?
He's incredible.
He just really hits it.
Yeah, Cameron Dicker is one of the most accurate kickers in NFL history. I mean, he's off to an incredible start. But again, as we sum it up and move on here, the Eagles had a chance to win this game. And Merrill, we got to get to the defense in our opening thoughts before we move on to the injury report in the second segment. But the defense, Merrill, other than a couple runs, and obviously Justin Herbert, who could have thought that could happen, but overall, Merrill, the defense was splendid.
Well, overall, they were splendid. Justin Herbert, I thought going into the game, having a broken bone surgically repaired in his left hand, would not be able to line up under center and run play action. Well, that was wrong. He 3 plays in, he was under center. And I also thought he wouldn't be running the ball because if he falls on that hand, he's maybe out for the season. But he ran. And I thought the defense, although they were great rushing the passer and did a pretty good job against the running game, they allowed Justin Herbert to escape too many times and gash them for big first downs. What were his running
10
totals?
for 66. By the way, Merrill,
That's over 6 yards a carry.
It's crazy. He had the most carries in any game over the last 2 seasons. It's a lot of it's because the rush got upfield, and he saw a hole to go through. In fact, he had more yardage than Omarion Hampton, who just came off injured reserve. Their pass defense was phenomenal. You mentioned Ladd McConkey, who I was worried about. Cooper DeJean shut him down, Merrill.
Yeah, he had
phenomenal,
one catch.
Phenomenal.
One
and
catch.
Physical, Merrill. Physical. At Quentin Johnson, they shut him down.
I think he had a catch.
He only had one. 2 for 8 yards.
And what did Keenan Allen have, 1 or 2?
3 for 22. He's probably going to be a Hall of Famer. But they shut down McConkey. They did a great job on Ronnie Gadsden Jr. You might remember his dad, who played for the Dolphins. I just thought the defense was special. After a tough game against the Bears, they kept them in it because when they kept turning over, Merrill, on a short field, you're putting the defense in such a tough position. Give Vic Fangio and his group credit here.
Adam, they should have been in position to win that game 19-16. They should never have been tied at the end of that game. All they had to do was stop them, and the game's over. And they shouldn't have allowed them to tie it and go to overtime. And then once you got into overtime, when they kick a 54-yard field goal and go up by 3, the Eagles were on the way to, at the very least, come away with a tie, but 17 yards or 18 yards away from a win. That was theirs to take.
Yeah, and that was your point about the interception from Hurts. The last one, anything but a turnover because the game is over by the overtime rules. Even if they scored, which they did, even if they scored a touchdown, you still get the ball back. But the shame of it is they got the running game going a little bit. Barkley had, as you call it in the game, the 52-yard run off of a fake tush push, which, hey, little wrinkle. I kind of like that.
Mm-hmm. I like a lot of it.
Yeah.
Although when they had they hit the pass to Goddard and they had a 1st and goal from the 2 or even the 2.5, I would have tush pushed.
I don't know why they didn't do it. Yeah,
you get 2 or 3 shots at it and you're in.
Well, they're not doing it as well, and maybe Sirianni just felt, hey, listen, our lines are not great. They have missed on some of them. It's a very good point.
But they didn't miss against the Chargers.
No, but against the Bears, remember, the
Bears,
look as good. Yes.
They were close to picking it up when the ball was taken out of the arm of Jalen Hurts. That was a rare occurrence. So I wouldn't base everything on that.
Sure. Now, one of the things before we move on here, Merrill, Goddard, again, a great game, 8 for 78, Merrill. Him and Hurts have really good chemistry, which we saw in training camp. Brown, another good game in terms of production, but drop passes, he's got to be better. Devontae Smith is quiet in this game. And Darius Cooper, how about that 19-yard catch?
Yeah, how about that for an
beautiful.
Undrafted free agent?
Yeah, he did a good job. And
Number 80.
And you also saw Shipley and Barkley in the backfield for 2 plays.
Wait a minute.
Go ahead.
You mentioned Shipley,
Yeah.
who was also going back on kickoff returns,
He did.
along with my guy, Britton Covey, number 18.
Who had a good game, Merrill.
Can you tell me why Britton Covey has been sitting on the practice squad since the end of the preseason when he is so clearly their best return guy and one of the best in the National Football League? In fact, 2 years ago, he led the NFL in punt returns. Why waste Britton Covey?
No, it's a great point. Now he's a big part of the team. In fact, they signed him off the practice squad last week, so he was on the roster, and he had an excellent game. Field position, as you know, Merrill.
He is so good. He is so good.
And how about him, Johnny on the spot, on the fumble? He got right on it.
Yeah.
That was amazing to me. He had an excellent, boy, the special teams. Braden Mann's been a great story. He was on with us last week, and good for Britton Covey. All right, when we come back, we're going to hit the injury report. Let's see who the Eagles host the Raiders on Sunday. We'll take a look at the Eagles and Raiders injury report. You're listening to the Pro Football Report presented by BCWSA right here on 1490 WBCB and 107.3 FM, and also seen live at WBCBsports.com. We'll be right back.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. Do you have a large party of 10, 20, even 50 people? We can't wait to treat you like family at Chicky and Pete's. Forget about deposits or credit card reservations. Making a reservation for your large group is effortless at Chickies and Pete's. Lots of options to celebrate and make your night out unforgettable. Order off the menu or select from food and drink packages. Private party rooms available. Make your reservations right now at chickiesandpete's.com. And don't forget, Chicky and Pete's gift cards are the perfect fit for any occasion. Only at Chickies and Pete's.
This is Tommy Green from the 1993 National League champion Phillies. Every champion needs a good game plan. BCWSA and I want to make sure you have a game plan when it comes to conserving our most precious resource, water. Whether you're washing dishes, brushing your teeth, or watering your garden, there are ways you can save water and save money. Visit bcwsa.net for tips on conserving water. BCWSA, proven.
Your day-to-day life is hectic between having to pick up the kids, make dinner, the countless other tasks that you got to get done. Rob's Automotive and Collision is there to make your life a whole lot easier. Make sure you take advantage of their spacious waiting rooms, the large flat-screen TVs, complimentary coffee and muffins, and free Wi-Fi. So even when you do have to stop, Rob's is there to make you feel right at home. Give Rob's a call today at 215-826-9200 for any of your auto repair needs.
We now return to Chickies and Pete's for the Pro Football Report presented by BCWSA. Once again, here are your hosts from Inside the Birds, Adam Caplan, and voice of the Philadelphia Eagles, Merrill Reese.
All right, welcome back, everyone, to the Pro Football Report presented by BCWSA right here on 1490 WBCB and 107.3 FM, and also seen live at WBCBsports.com. It's Adam Caplan from Inside the Birds and the great Merrill Reese. We're here at Chicky and Pete's in Warrington, PA. We're at off 611 and the PA Turnpike. It's time now for this week's injury review, brought to you by the attorneys at Begley, Carlin, and Mandio. Contact them today for a free consultation at 215-806-3689. That's 215-806-3689. Well, Merrill, the first one, I'm not saying that Lane Johnson's going to play this week, but Merrill, there's a reason why the Eagles did not put him on injury reserve with that midfoot sprain. Lane's been a little bit active on social media. Yeah.
This week?
I'm not saying he will play, but let's keep an eye on practice late this week. Again, he served 3 games already. He's been out. 4 games would be if it put him on IR. He would have missed 4 games. So they clearly think he's got a chance over the next couple weeks to play. Let's keep an eye on that. And, of course, Fred Johnson's been filling in for him.
Yeah, Fred's okay, but he's not Lane Johnson.
No one is.
Nobody is.
No, he will be a Hall of Famer. Now, Landon Dickerson, as you know, left the game with a calf injury. He came back. He missed 12 plays. Brett Toth replaced him, and Brett Toth is Johnny on the spot, who plays a lot of different positions. In this game, he played left guard for Landon. But Landon, the good thing is he came back. Merrill, Landon's he's had back problems, knee. You worry about his health, and that has been the story of this offensive line, Merrill. Their health. They've had a lot of problems with injuries.
A lot. I say to people that the biggest difference between last year's Eagles team and this year's Eagles team is last year they had the number 1 offensive line in the NFL. And they really, really rode that offensive line. It helped them in every aspect of the offense. This year, they do not have a good offensive line, and it's not coaching. It's not innate talent. It's injuries. You have Landon Dickerson. You have Cam Jurgens. They're not well.
Lane Johnson.
Lane Johnson is out. Even before this, he was going in and out with neck problems. Then you have Tyler Steen. Why? I don't understand. He keeps standing up and looking back on every play. Did you notice that?
Yeah, he does, and he also keeps having penalties at the worst period of time. What's interesting, Merrill, about this game is I think they only had 6 or 7 penalties, which is a major improvement over what had been happening. But it's the timeliness of these penalties are just crushing. I mean, you saw in the Dallas game, right? The Eagles were rolling on offense. They had 14 penalties. You can't win like that. And that's something that the offensive line has got to do a better job with. Now, defensively, Jalen Carter, we don't know exactly when he's going to play. Now, he had a procedure last week, which we think was some kind of treatment for both shoulders.
We know it was not surgical.
Right. We think it's some sort of treatment, a shot. Could it be cortisone? Could it be PRP?
Yeah.
But the bottom line is Byron Young. Byron Young's that was a good move to get him from the Raiders.
He was noticeable yesterday.
Yeah,
he made a lot of great plays.
And he'll be facing the team that cut him on Sunday. Now, the first injury report, by the way, today is Tuesday. The first injury report will be available Wednesday evening. We expect the Eagles to have some sort of a walkthrough tomorrow. I can't imagine they have any sort of practice. So what time did they get home? What time do you guys get home today?
We landed at 7:30.
Yeah, they're not practicing tomorrow. Now, for the Raiders, they got all sorts of problems. Geno Smith, who struggled, and by the way, under Chip Kelly, and Chip Kelly was let go. Old friend Greg Olson is going to call the plays. Geno Smith, bad right hand, bad right shoulder. You might see Kenny Pickett play, former Eagle quarterback.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It'll be Kenny Pickett.
Yep.
He's a really good guy.
Kenny, of course, from
Pitt.
Right, in New Jersey. Now, the Raiders, Merrill, down their left tackle, Colt Miller, who's been out since week 5 with a significant high ankle sprain. And Jackson Powers Johnson with a left leg injury, who's their center, who had concussion issues in college. He's out with a left leg injury. He went on IR in week 11. Michael Mayer, who's their blocking tight end. He's been out the last 2 games.
But their starting tight end.
Oh, Brock Bowers.
Brock
is a stud,
Bowers might be the best in the league. He is amazing. Well, I started to say that, and then halfway through I said, wait a minute.
Yeah, Goddard's pretty good.
He's pretty good,
yeah.
and of course we're talking about other great people like Kelsey.
Yep.
And we're talking about George Kittle. But I want to tell you who's really moving up there in his rookie year, and that is Tyler Warren out of Penn State.
Oh, Penn State for the Colts.
He is out of this world.
Merrill, how about this one? Phillip Rivers, 44 years old, hasn't thrown a pass in an NFL game in 5 years. He's out of retirement because the Colts are down their 3 quarterbacks. That's crazy.
Yeah, but I hear he's been playing in a flag football league every Sunday
Flag's
afternoon.
Hey, Flag's good.
He can't wait to get back.
Flag, you could say what you want. See, I called flag games for the American Flag Football League for 2 years.
Did you really?
I did, yeah. Believe it or not, they're the top flag company, the AFFL, yeah. But listen, flags generally 7-on-7. This is 11-on-11. Phillip Rivers is not a good athlete.
I was kidding about that.
I hear. Yeah. Well, you know what? It wouldn't surprise me because Joe Flacco literally came off the couch. He was throwing the ball in the backyard.
Yeah.
So you just never know. But early
and
call.
Then you have Aaron Rodgers coming off a good game.
Who's turning on? They somehow won, but the Steelers and the Ravens. How about the Ravens? I cannot. What has happened to them? They're falling off. But look, early call in the weather. I might as well let you know, Merrill. I don't know if you've looked at it. I'm Mr. Weather. Mid-30s, 50% chance of rain. Now, as you know, forecasts can change. Probably will. But just the early forecast, because, Merrill, you got home a little bit later in the morning. It was freezing.
Freezing.
My wife and I we walk our dogs at 7 a.m. just about every day. Holy smokes, Merrill. I told my wife, I said, I got to defrost and go inside. I can't take this. This is even worse than usual for this area. So.
Well, just yesterday morning, my son and I, Nolan, who lives out there, were strolling around the hotel that was in Marina Del Rey, and it was 75 degrees out at the marina. Beautiful. Sunshine. Gorgeous. But you know what? I would have rather seen a nasty, awful day and see the team play totally well. And you can't under that. Yeah. It's a weird stadium. It's kind of technically, I guess you'd call it an indoor stadium because it is covered.
Yes.
But you see the sky, the light comes in, and all the sides are wide open. From that standpoint, it's a very, very good stadium. I think for a spectator, for a broadcaster, it's awful.
What did you think of the L.A. Coliseum, or as I called it with affection, the L.A. Mausoleum?
I liked it. I liked its history, the fact that the Olympics were there many, many years ago, the fact that it's where Southern Cal played all their games. I liked it. I did a lot of Eagles games at the Coliseum.
Yeah, I was at the one time I was there for an Eagles game was the 2017 game when Wentz got hurt, but that was an unbelievable game. The atmosphere was really, it was interesting because, as you know, Merrill, and I actually wanted to get to this in a second before we'll have one more note on injuries, but what was the crowd like? Was it pro-Eagles?
No,
it was still Chargers?
A lot of people said that it was pro-Eagles.
Yeah.
I don't believe that. My feeling, because I could hear the crowd when Decker hit the 54-yard field goal.
Sure.
I didn't have to wait to see the official. I would say that maybe there were, what was the total crowd? About 55,000.
I will look
Something
up the crowd.
like that. It wasn't packed.
Oh, so there were empty seats? Really? There were empty seats?
There were empty seats.
For Monday Night Football, L.A., man, the chart.
Well, it's the Chargers.
I know,
they
don't have a great
They don't have a fan base there.
No. In fact, you called the game at the Home Depot Center, or whatever they called it then in 2017 when Blunt went crazy. That game was pro Eagles, was it not?
Oh, that was all Eagles fans.
What was it like to call a game there?
It was great. There were 25,000 fans in 2017. It was a little soccer stadium, and that's where they played because the Chargers hadn't moved yet to Los Angeles because the new stadium wasn't open. So they played at this 25,000 seat stadium, and it was like being at a big high school game, and it was amazing. It was fun. Now I would say if there were 60,000 fans at the game yesterday, maybe 25,000 were Eagles.
That's a lot, though.
That's a lot.
That's incredible. That's
Yeah.
a really good turnout.
Yeah.
All right. Don't forget, Drew Makuba is on IR. He had ankle surgery. So as long as the Eagles make the playoffs, maybe if they go deep, maybe he comes back. But, Merrill, you saw it last night. Marcus Epps was back from injury.
Yeah, he was.
It was good to get him back because Sidney Brown, it just hasn't worked out for him at safety. And how about one more for Dory Jackson, very active, had a pretty good game.
Playing well. He is playing surprisingly well. There were a couple of times that he provided a little too much cushion, but he made some big plays.
All right, that was this week's injury review brought to you by the attorneys at Begley, Carlin, and Mandio. Contact them today for a free consultation at 215-806-3689. That's 215-806-3689. Now, up next, we're going to have the keys for an Eagles victory against the visiting Las Vegas Raiders, a matchup we got to feel the Eagles are going to win and break that 3-game losing streak. You're listening to the Pro Football Report on WBCB, presented by BCWSA. We'll be right back.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's, the official sports bar of your world champion Philadelphia Eagles. Go where the players go. Come join us all season for Eagles pep rallies, watch parties, and the best in-game experience anywhere. Ice-cold draft beer, world-famous food, and fan-friendly fun for every Eagles game. Every Monday night in South Philly, the Jordan Mailata Show, presented by Miller Lite, followed by Chicky and Pete's Players Lounge with a current player, hosted by Ike Reese and Hugh Douglas. Go where the players go. Chickies and Pete's.
Hey BCWSA customers, this is Tommy Green from the 1993 National League champion Phillies. My friends at BCWSA are committed to providing us with safe, reliable water and sewer services. They operate state-of-the-art treatment facilities, provide clean drinking water, and make much-needed investments to protect our environment and ensure a sustainable future. Learn how BCWSA's investments help grow and serve our communities. Visit bcwsa.net. BCWSA, prove it.
Rob's Automotive and Collision Center in Lower Bucks County is a full-service repair center with competitive prices, top-of-the-line products, and the finest auto body and mechanical repair technicians anywhere. Rob's makes repairing your car easy. Same-day service guaranteed. Whether it's an oil change, state inspection, or a mechanical issue, Rob's will have you in and out and on your way. 2700 Veterans Highway in Bristol, 215-826-9200 for 24-hour emergency towing. Call 215-826-0250.
When an Eagles player gets hurt, the team takes care of him. When you get hurt, the attorneys at Begley, Carlin, and Mandio will take care of you. They understand that a severe accident can be a life-altering event. You need a reliable teammate to fight for you. The attorneys at Begley, Carlin, and Mandio will get you great results. And if there's no recovery, there's no fee. Contact them today at 215-750-0110 for a free consultation. 215-750-0110 for a reliable ally that's on your side.
We now return to Chickies and Pete's for the Pro Football Report, presented by BCWSA. Once again, here are your hosts from Inside the Birds, Adam Caplan, and voice of the Philadelphia Eagles, Merrill Reese.
All right, everyone, welcome back. You're listening to the Pro Football Report presented by BCWSA right here on 1490 WBCB and 107.3 FM. And also seen live at WBCBsports.com. It's Adam Caplan from Inside the Birds and the great Merrill Reese to my left, if you're watching us on YouTube. It's time now for this week's Penworth Financial's keys to the game. The key to your financial future is Penworth Financial. Call them today at 267-997-4503. or visit them at penworth.com. All right, Merrill, so the Eagles are now 8-5. They're still a game and a half ahead of those dreaded Cowboys. But the Raiders come into town. They're just a bad football team. Hey, a rare 1 o'clock game, Merrill. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Everyone loves that. Everybody loves that. So the bottom line is, Merrill, the Eagles did some good games. Good things in the last game. We talked about the passing game, but you know what? I like how they ran the ball outside, not so much inside.
They did some okay things.
Yeah.
But if you had asked me when the Eagles are 8-2, what's the key to the game against the Raiders, I would have said show up at the stadium.
Oh, when they were 8-2.
When they were 8-2,
Yeah.
and I'd say that you have to show up at the stadium to pick up a win. But now crazy things are happening in the National Football League.
Sure.
Nothing is a lock. Can you tell me how did Tampa Bay lose yesterday?
Saints, yeah.
How did Tampa Bay lose to who? They lose to the Saints.
Saints, yeah.
The Saints.
In Tampa, Merrill.
Yeah,
that can't happen
with Baker Mayfield.
Who's a good quarterback.
Although, who's the kid who's now quarterbacking the Saints?
Tyler Shuck.
Tyler Shuck. What is a Tyler Shuck? I never heard of Tyler Shuck.
It's the spelling is much different, by the way, if you will. But so to me, keep getting that outside run game. I loved it. Not only was the fake tush push a great play, but they started to run the ball well outside. But Merrill, running inside has been a problem.
What has been? And well, again, the biggest difference between last year and this year is the offensive line.
No question about it. What I loved is, so A.J. Brown is coming on. I know that he had some place he'd like to have back, but it's good to see the chemistry, Merrill, between Hurts and A.J. Brown come on here a little bit.
Well, it's good to see him off the internet.
Yeah, right. That's right, complaining. Right.
Let's stay away from TikTok and that stuff.
Right. As you well know. No, I'm just kidding. Saquon Barkley, good to see Merrill last night, technically. He had a very good game. They need to keep building on that.
Yeah, and yesterday, I wondered if after having the amount of action, carries, and pounding that he took last year, if maybe he was a little less explosive than he was a year ago. And then when he got outside on that touchdown run, you could just see him turn on the jets, and nobody could catch him. He still has that speed. He still can be explosive. It would help if he had some daylight to run to.
That's true, and you can call that. And then Dallas Goedert, Merrill, 88, and Hurts. Again, I know overall it wasn't what everyone wanted. They started scoring 24 to 30 points like last year. But, man, Dallas Goedert is having a career season.
Dallas Goedert is an excellent football player. He really is. I think in the draft next year the Eagles have to go after a tight end because it's time and because we don't know what Dallas Goedert's future is going to be with this team. And but he's a great player. He's a great guy. And speaking of tight ends, I was so sorry to see Zach Ertz go out with the injury that he had, torn ACL.
Second one of his career.
I think that will probably be it for him. He was saying before the season that this will be his last and that he will retire. And now I would bet that sure, unless he just says, and he's hard-headed, I don't want to go out like this. I want one more year.
I remember Merrill in 2013 he was drafted. I remember when I was working for Dave Spadaro, he came in, we were doing Eagles Live, and I'm like, oh, that's it. He had a buzz cut then, his first remembrance of Philly. And I look at now, and we look so many years later, and he's had borderline Hall of Fame career just because of numbers for a tight end, just absolutely phenomenal, and a Hall of Fame person.
Yeah, he was one of the good things that Chip Kelly actually did.
It's true.
And there weren't a lot.
No.
But Chip Kelly drafted Lane Johnson in the first round, his first pick ever, and then overnight they had time to think about it because they had the first pick in round two, and they used that to pick Stanford Zach Ertz.
And the Eagles ran a lot of what we call 11 personnel, three receivers and one tight end. And Chargers are really not deep at corner now. The Raiders really are not. So I'll be interested to see what they do and what the Eagles' approach will be. We'll see what the weather looks like. But the thing is, Merrill, you said it earlier. The Eagles' talent level is so much more. It's way better than the team that's coming into town here. And you can't say, as you said it earlier, you can't just count on a blowout. That doesn't happen anymore. It used to, but not anymore.
I'm thinking about the teams in the playoffs. Let's say they get to the playoffs, and they should. I still think they're better than the Bears. I think if they meet the Bears again, they'll beat the Bears.
Well, remember, despite all the yardage they gave up, Look how tight the game was. You know, they had a chance. If they didn't turn over, they could have taken the lead.
Should have.
You know?
Should have.
I mean, when you look at the rest, okay, so the Rams blew a big lead here in Philly. The Rams are the best team right now in the National Football League. They're really, really good. Denver's good, but they play a lot of close games. The Eagles have already beaten Tampa, who's fallen off. They had a great win against Green Bay. In Seattle, no. If Sam Darnold can turn it over, we'll see about Sam Darnold. But
they are having a good season.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Now, the Raiders, to me, when you look at the keys to the game, the Raiders don't do anything particularly well.
But you know what the Eagles have to do?
Good.
Keep Max Crosby out of the Eagles' backfield.
He's a phenomenal football player. Double X Max, yes, from Eastern Michigan, who is a stud player, but he doesn't have a lot of help. And they've already
He has a lot of tattoos.
That's what he has. But you know what? They've had a lot of coaching changes already. They fired the special teams coach, Chip Kelly, who we mentioned was fired.
I can't imagine that.
And you're not saying that with any sarcasm that I can tell.
No. Well, there were reports that he was sending in plays that hadn't yet been included in the offense, that his formations were off. He isn't what he purports to be. He is not a genius. I mean, he's a guy with a knowledge of football and a fast-moving, crazy-paced offense that he puts in there. But once somebody has a way to stop it, he has to go, what do I do now? I still remember the first game he coached against Washington when he came here.
That was crazy.
And he brings them out, and they're running back and forth like racehorses, and they accumulated a big lead and hung on. But I also remember the last year he coached, Thanksgiving Day in Detroit. That game was so bad. The Eagles were so far behind that with 2 minutes to go, I said the thing that I am most thankful for on this Thanksgiving Day is that there are only 2 minutes left in this game.
Oh, did you really say that on the air?
I said that on the air, and people were tweeting it all over the place. I meant it. I mean, it was so embarrassingly bad, terrible.
And I just remember what you just said. I just remember thinking, okay, Chip Kelly's going to get fired. There's just no way you could bring him back because everything that was going on around him was bad, and Howie would get his power back and obviously turn things around in a major way.
I mean, Chip wasn't even polite to the owner.
And Jeffrey had to take the building back. I remember putting that out there. Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, we don't need to revisit the Chip Kelly era, which started off like a bang but went out like a fizzle. Now, when we look at the defense, Merrill, let's look at the Eagles' defense versus the offense of the Raiders. And we already talked about Geno Smith and his injuries, but Morrow Jones.
Does he start, do you think?
He's banged. He'll be very questionable to play. They have to get through the week here. But listen, Jalen Phillips had a good game. The Eagles had 7 sacks. How about 58 Jalex Hunt? What a game, 2.5 sacks.
He is a very good player.
What a story.
He is a very good player. He leads he has the tie for the lead in interceptions with 2. But he's a very instinctive player. He's got great speed. He started his college career at Cornell as a safety, and then he went on to, I think it was called Houston Christian, and finished his career there. But he's a bright kid, and he's a good football player.
And how about the game, Merrill, Nakobe Dean had last night? You called it.
He's a great player. Vic Fangio doesn't say great a whole lot.
I know.
But when he was asked about Dean, Nakobe Dean, he said, listen, he's a great player. As soon as I can't wait to get him back on the field. He is a terrific player. The Eagles, that was one of the great picks in Eagles history when you can get into Nakobe Dean in the 3rd round.
And think about it, Merrill. He had the Lisfranc rupture of the midfoot, okay, which cost him a season 2 years ago in 23. Last season, he has a torn patellar tendon. You're thinking, well, maybe he'll be back by midseason, but he won't be himself. This is one of the most remarkable recoveries of my 27 years of covering this business. I've not seen anything like this, Merrill. This guy's unbelievable.
Yeah. No, he's good, and he's the reason Jihad Campbell isn't really playing.
He only had, 9 snaps in the game, and it is what it is. Nolan Smith, and how about BG? By the way, Brandon Graham played 40% of the defensive snaps last night. That surprised me.
That's amazing.
He is a guy that I obviously he's not going to go in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, but he'll be Eagles Hall of Famer. The thing is, in this game, Merrill, I know what the defense will do to the Raider offense. It's, can the Eagles offense, with Max Crosby, you mentioned him, keep him at bay, block him, make sure he doesn't be disruptive? Because if you could handle him, this actually could be, if the weather holds up, a pretty good game for the offense.
I think so. I would have earlier, as I said, I would have told you this is a W, no question about it. But we have seen the Eagles sink to some depths, and I don't know how far this thing is going to go. I don't believe this is a repeat of 2023,
I knew we were going,
where they were
right.
10-1 and then went down the drain. I don't believe that. I think the Raiders give them the opportunity to get back on the beam and then head for Washington and a Saturday game and take that, and suddenly you are 10-5, and with 2 games to go, Buffalo and Washington, and in great shape. But I think that will happen. However, I will tell you that some of that faith has been shaken by what I have seen in these last 3 weeks.
You're just being honest. Yeah, you're just being honest. A 3-game losing streak is not good for anybody. But the thing is about with this team, Marl, there's so much talent that Howie's amassed here. And the coaching generally overall is pretty good. They hit a little bit of lull here. But let me ask you this question, because you were calling the game, you were at the game. How was the energy for you to call? Did you notice? Because the defense certainly looked energized.
Oh, yeah. You could feel that. You could feel energy. The problem with the Eagles was not energy on either side of the ball.
Okay.
It was again, I hate to say it, but again, it was an offensive line that does not hold up and give Jalen Hurts a surplus of opportunities to survey the field, and it was the turnovers that killed. Turnovers always kill. I think it's something like if you win the turnover battle, you're going to win 80% of your games.
That's from Jaws always says, Ron Jaworski always says that if you win the turnover battle, which they didn't, they lost a small baseball score 5-3, which you can't do. Oh, by the way, I have to ask you this question, because you called one of the most ridiculous plays in NFL history, the double turnover by Hurts. How did you even call that situation?
I probably didn't see that all that well because it was so boom bam that I only knew that the ball was intercepted. I knew that the ball was loose. I knew that somebody had it. Then I knew that Hurts, for a second, had it in his hands. And I don't even know how long he had possession. Yeah. And then it ended up in the hands of the Chargers. That's all I knew. I mean, don't forget, at SoFar Stadium, we are sitting so far away. It's really bad.
Yeah. But nothing like Washington. Is it worse than Washington?
In some respects, it's worse
How?
than Washington.
How is it even possible?
Well, because in Washington, you're in a corner of the end zone.
So low down.
You're low, but you are still closer to the field.
Right.
And there's no glass in front of you in Washington. And I don't want to give Washington a credit because what they call it Northwest Stadium now, or Northwestern Stadium. It's a dump. I mean, it is a veritable, it is an absolute dump. Now, SoFar Stadium is not a dump. It's a beautiful, beautiful modern stadium, and I think the fans have a great time there. But for a broadcaster, it's a mess.
Yeah, which is not good. And listen, as we finish off the Penworth financial keys to the game here, it's real simple. Eagles, come out and play a good game. You'll blow them out. If you let them, and Merrill was alluding to this, if you don't raise your game, and you bring in a so-so game, anybody can get beat. That's the strangest, Merrill, before we move on here, of this season. It's the most wide open I could ever remember. This is crazy. It's like if you get in the playoffs, you could win. You could get a ring. You know?
I mean, even Tennessee's winning a couple of games.
They actually won. They almost blew it against Cleveland. But, yeah, they gave Cam Ward credit. Yeah. It's real simple. The keys are real simple. Just play a good football game, and then they'll beat them. So those are the Penworth financial keys to the game. The key to your financial future is Penworth Financial. Call them today, 267-997-4503, or visit them at penworth.com. We'll be right back. You're listening to the Pro Football Report, presented by BCWSA right here on 1490 WBCB and 107.3 FM, and also seen live at WBCBsports.com. We'll be right back.
Hi, it's Pete from Chicky and Pete's. Do you have a large party, 10, 20, even 50 people? We can't wait to treat you like family at Chicky and Pete's. Forget about deposits or credit card reservations. Making a reservation for your large group is effortless at Chickies and Pete's. Lots of options to celebrate and make your night out unforgettable. Order off the menu or select from food and drink packages. Private party rooms available. Make your reservations right now at chickiesandpete's.com. And don't forget, Chicky and Pete's gift cards are the perfect fit for any occasion. Only at Chickies and Pete's.
This is Tommy Green from the 1993 National League champion Phillies. Every champion needs a good game plan. BCWSA and I want to make sure you have a game plan when it comes to conserving our most precious resource, water. Whether you're washing dishes, brushing your teeth, or watering your garden, there are ways you can save water and save money. Visit bcwsa.net for tips on conserving water. BCWSA, proven.
Your day-to-day life is hectic between having to pick up the kids, make dinner, the countless other tasks that you got to get done. Rob's Automotive and Collision is there to make your life a whole lot easier. Make sure you take advantage of their spacious waiting rooms, the large flat-screen TVs, complimentary coffee and muffins, and free Wi-Fi. So even when you do have to stop, Rob's is there to make you feel right at home. Give Rob's a call today at 215-826-9200 for any of your auto repair needs.
We now return to Chickies and Pete's for the Pro Football Report presented by BCWSA. Once again, here are your hosts from Inside the Birds, Adam Caplan, and voice of the Philadelphia Eagles, Merrill Reese.
All right, everyone, welcome back.
You are the host. I'm just a guest.
Yes, that's
tonight.
right.
That's
I
it.
am Adam Caplan from Inside the Birds. Thank you, Merrill Reese, the voice of the Eagles, for decades and decades. Welcome back, everyone, to the Pro Football Report presented by BCWSA right here on 1490 WBCB and 107.3 FM, and also seen live at WBCBsports.com. But we are actually at Chicky Pizza, Warrington, PA, right off 611. Next week, Andrew DiCecco and I will be at Chicky Pizza at Roosevelt Boulevard. And by the way, Braden Mann was so good, Merrill. As a matter of fact, I said, hey, Merrill. I said to Brandon. Braden, excuse me. Braden, yeah, Braden.
Hey,
Braden.
Merrill?
Yeah, exactly. No. Merrill, what I said to Braden Mann was, you know what, we want to hook you up with our guy, Sean Landetta. Because Sean Landetta is one of the best punters in NFL history. And Braden Mann, by the way, is doing a pretty good job. Should be a Pro Bowler.
Oh, I think so. He's averaging 50 yards a punt.
I mean, he's been fit. What a great story he has been. And we were talking to Braden about his story and what the Jets were going to do with him, and then the Steelers. And the Eagles have him now, and he's done an excellent job. And let's just see what happens here with this game against the Raiders. And you set it up, Merrill, very, very well earlier in the show. It's right here for the Eagles. I know they have a 3-game losing streak, but 2 against Washington, they're defeated. They're done. They're terrible right now. They're beat up physically. Raiders are a really bad football team. The one game, we're going to get to that right now, is at Buffalo in Week 17. You've called games there because I remember one of them when I was a younger lad when Randall Cunningham, one of the longest punts in NFL history. What's it like to call a game in Buffalo?
Well, it's cold. That's
with the window open.
No, but the Randall punt, Adam.
Yes.
Was at Giants Stadium. The 93-yard punt was against the Giants.
Why did I think something happened at Buffalo? Didn't something happen really at Buffalo?
Because you've been drinking too much.
Okay, it must have been a cold game.
Yeah, that was the 93-yard punt.
It's at Giants Stadium.
It was backed up at Giants Stadium.
Okay. Because I know people will tell me, no, you idiot, it was at Giants Stadium.
It was
so
at
you
Giants
got it
Stadium.
for me. Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
But it's an interesting stadium. This will be the last time we'll ever see it.
Yep.
Because they have built a brand new stadium there. Again, an open-air stadium for some reason.
In Buffalo.
But that's okay with me because I don't like domes. I like open-air stadiums, even if the elements are out there, there's snow, there's rain. But it just adds to the drama of the whole situation. I love a weather game.
So here's a question for you, because you told me this many years ago when we got to be friendly, that you would call the game because you want to hear the crowd, right?
Yes.
How did you know that? Like, did someone say, "Hey, this is a good way to do play"? Like, how did you know that? It's just because calling games.
You just sit in the booth,
right?
When Mike Quick first began, we were in Washington that year, and we were in a different booth, and it was a terrible cold day, and you could open the windows or shut the windows. And Mike said, "Shut the windows. It's freezing."
Yeah.
I said, "Mike, we can't do that. We've got to open the windows so you can feel the game. You can hear the crowd and you can react." So Mike said, "Well, if you want to feel the game, go down on the field and let them hit you." So I said, "All right, you'll see." So the next week we went to Kansas City. Kansas City is one of the few stadiums in the league where you are actually glassed in.
Oh.
It's unremovable glass.
At Arrowhead.
At Arrowhead Stadium from top to bottom. Now, you do have a good view there, but it's unremovable glass. And Mike said to me, "You know what? I felt like I was in a library today." He said, "I couldn't feel it."
Oh, wow.
Even if you have some of it piped into your headset, it's not the same. It's not the same of hearing the roar of the crowd. I mean, there's nothing like being outdoors at Kansas City when that crowd goes nuts, or outdoors at the link. But when I hear about the fact that the Eagles could consider a dome stadium, and I understand why, so it is able to be used for all kinds of
Multi-purpose,
events year-round.
right. Sure.
But give me football on a beautiful August, not August so much, that's the preseason, but on a beautiful late September day during the fall, and you look up and the sky is blue. Or give me an Eagles-Dallas game late in December when everything is riding on it, and the sky is slate gray, and you feel like you come on the air and you say, and the sky is December serious. It's like it all fits. I mean, it adds to the picture. It adds to the drama. Give me an outdoor stadium any day. And then there are stadiums that have removable roofs. And I'm okay with that, except that if you play the Cardinals in
State
Phoenix,
Farm Stadium, whatever it's called.
State Farm Stadium, and you play the Cardinals out there, it could be the most beautiful 70-degree day. I mean, not every day in Arizona is 103. It could be the most beautiful 73-degree day, and you walk in the stadium, and the roof is closed, and because they want to give the Cardinals the advantage of the crowd noise, and that will close the roof and that will lock it in. There's no reason to do that.
Agree.
If you're going to have a stadium with a removable roof, then the decision of whether that roof is opened or closed should be with the league, and only should it be closed under extreme conditions.
Let me ask you this question, because every stadium has its own ambiance and own difference. Because you've talked about SoFar Stadium. We know about how great it's been for you at the Link. What are your favorite stadiums to call a game in?
Well, first of all, the best pure broadcast location is at MetLife. That's a great stadium.
Well, as a reporter, because I was there for the Miracle Meadowlands too, actually I had to write for FoxSports.com. The new stadium, I was like, this is actually a beautiful stadium.
Great stadium.
Yeah.
Great stadium. And the scoreboards are actually on the ground, right behind the benches. You don't even have to move your eyes. It's a great place in which to broadcast a game. But my favorite stadium of all, because of its meaning, because of its history, and I say this to people all the time, if you're a great football fan and you have a bucket list of where you'd like to go to Lambeau Field. There's no place like Lambeau Field.
Do you feel it when you go?
I do. I really do. I feel it. I get such a thrill out of walking into that place. And you walk in, the whole town is out. And they're all outside the stadium. They're barbecuing brats.
Yeah.
They're offering them to anybody who walks by. Would you like a brat, sir? And the fans are great. But that stadium is just, you walk in and you can almost hear John Facenda's voice.
Exactly what I was going to
saying,
say.
the frozen tundra of Green Bay, Wisconsin. But it's a great special place.
So you flew back with the team. You got here early this morning. Today is Tuesday. The first practice is tomorrow. Whatever they're going to have is probably a walkthrough. What's your process the rest of the week?
Well, I've already started.
Oh, okay. How so?
I've already started today setting up my book, bringing out the depth chart of the Raiders, starting to take a look at the stats from yesterday and digest exactly where they fell statistically, and looking at what the Raiders are doing and getting to know, caught up with the rest of the league. But I begin right away. And then, of course, along with it, I have to do a commentary every day for Odyssey Broadcasting. Every single day I do a commentary for
is that
Odyssey.
put on KYW?
It's on KYW.
Yes.
Well, no.
Oh, no? Or
KYW,
IP?
Dave Urim from KYW calls me, and I tape with him on Zoom every night.
Oh, wow.
But I also do a radio, a 30-second commentary that will go on all of the Odyssey stations. Nice,
very nice. Now,
Chris, if I played a commentary from my phone, could you pick this up? Do you want me to try?
No.
Because I think you might want to hear this.
Oh.
Okay, yeah. Here.
Right.
Here, just see if this works. All right, I'm just going to try this.
Interesting.
See if it works. All right, I have to get here.
Know what you're doing.
To here. Now, let me put this right up against my microphone and try this.
For Wednesday, have these last three games been tough?
Whoa.
I heard it, yeah.
Wait a minute.
These last three
somehow
games.
Or other, wait a minute.
Okay.
Let me try.
For Eagles fans, first,
Here we go again.
For Wednesday, have these last three games been tough to endure for Eagles fans? First, the historic collapse in Big D.
then the pounding they took from the Bears on the aptly named Black Friday, and then the Monday night mess out there against the Chargers. Yet, here they are, not looking Super Bowl ready, but still leading the NFC East. This week, they get a gift, a visit from the 2-11 Raiders. If they can't take advantage of this, maybe Chicken Little was right. With the Eagles, this is Merrill Reese.
Very nice, Merrill. Very nice. You basically said it on the show tonight.
That came through?
It did very well, as a matter of fact. Here's a
so that's the kind of thing I do.
Yeah, I got you. So now, after that, they play Washington. Do you wait till the next week, or do you actually do it in a little bit advance on the next team, or just stay with this one?
I just stay with this one.
Now, do you have cards? Because I think you've talked about that before. Do you have like little index cards?
I have flashcards.
Flashcards, okay.
And this setup, and Cindy quizzes me on them during the week.
Now, what does your great producer, Joseph A. McPeak, do for you for the game?
Absolutely nothing.
Really?
He sits and watches the game. He fiddles his thumb. He eats. He sits and he does absolutely nothing.
Really?
I can't get him to do anything. No, he's actually the busiest guy in the world. All those things you hear me with the drive of the game, or they're in the Deborah Heart and Health Center red zone.
Yes.
And Joe is handing me cards throughout the
Got
day.
it. Okay.
He's timing everything. He's got all the breaks. He's looking at information. He's figuring out when to go down to the sideline. He is like the old one arm paper hanger.
Yeah.
He's doing a million things, and he's really a wonderful, wonderful producer. And he is celebrating his 40th year as the producer of these broadcasts.
That is phenomenal. By the way, I've never asked you this question. Okay, the game's over. Win or lose, do you stay for an hour? Or you go right home?
No, I don't eat during the day.
Okay.
I have pancakes in the morning at the hotel or at the house, because once I get to the stadium, I am far too nervous to do anything up until
you get nervous?
Scared to death, nervous in my stomach, because I've done. It's like going into a final exam. You've studied all week and you've got all this stuff in your head.
Sure.
So I feel it until Joe cues me. He'll go 30 seconds, 10 seconds. He'll cue me and I'll come on with the game. And it all goes away, and I'm floating for the next 3 hours. But I am nervous before a game. But Mike eats right through the broadcast. I do nothing. I drink water or tea, and then in the fourth quarter, I have a nice Coke to keep me up. And then I go into the press room afterwards. And whether it's lasagna or whatever they have in the press room, I will eat as soon as the broadcast is over. I am ravenous. But within about 15 minutes, I'm in the jam, in the traffic jam, out in the parking lot heading home.
Now, do you and Mike have a conference call, go over some stuff, or you just wait till you get – how does that work for you, Mike, during the week?
We will see each other down at Novacare. I'm down there every day.
Sure.
But we may just chat about something casually. I try not to. The only thing I tell Mike, I have a book, and the only thing I write in my book that will go on the air verbatim is the open. And I'll probably write the open 15 minutes before I go on the air, based on how I feel, based on what I can sense from the players down on the field. I'll go down on the field at 11:30 and do a piece for Channel 3, CBS 3, on their pregame show. I'll come back up to the booth. I'll go on the air with the WIP pregame show, and then it's time to go. But I will only tell Mike what I'm going to say when I come to him at the start of the broadcast. And after that, we have our notes, but we wing it.
Well, you just heard from the man himself, Merrill Reese. Look forward for your call and Mike's for the Raider game on Sunday against the Eagles. This is the Pro Football Report presented by BCWSA right here on 1490, WBCB 107.3 FM, and also seen live at WBCBsports.com. We thank our friends at Chicky and Pete's here in Warrington. Next week, it's Andrew DiCecco and I at Chickies in Northeast Philly at Roosevelt Boulevard. We'll speak to you then.
You're listening to 1490 WBCB and on your FM dial at 107.3 W.